It is a beautiful day out here in Los Angeles, California. I'm in the woods, in the canyons to be exact, and I have to tell you that I just love shooting outdoors. And today, I'm gonna be showing you how to shoot on crazy terrain like this and still get smooth footage and movements from the crane too. It all comes down to your technique, the type of lens you're using, and even the shoes that you're wearing. So in this video, I'm gonna be showing you all of that. I'm gonna be showing you my top secret techniques in order to get smooth footage, especially on uneven, steep terrain like this. We're gonna be walking on rocks, we're gonna be walking on stairs, we're gonna be walking on dirt. You can get crazier terrain than this. This is honestly extreme terrain. And believe it or not, you can still get smooth footage, actually just as smooth footage as if you were walking on plain old concrete. So let's get started. So before we start, let's quickly talk about lenses and what I recommend you use. Right now I'm using the Zeiss 16 to 35mm f4. I recommend that you use a wide angle lens, especially if you're on bumpy terrain like this. A wide angle lens does a great job in eliminating a lot of shake and vibration, especially if you're new to gimbals. When you become more advanced, you can start using different lenses all the way up into a telephoto 85mm. I love shooting on telephoto lenses because you can get beautiful shallow depth of field. But when we're talking about this kind of terrain, a telephoto lens can be very difficult to shoot with, even for me. So stick with a 16 all the way up to, let's say, a 24mm. If your camera or lens has stabilization, I suggest you turn it on just to be extra safe. When you're using a telephoto lens, that's when I suggest that you turn off that stabilization because it can be counterproductive. When it comes down to digital stabilization, let's say in post-production, I never use that because it crops in and you lose resolution, and the overall stability is not the same as if you were to do it in body. Try to stay away from anything artificial like warp stabilization or any other sort of digital stabilization. Keep it as natural as you can. When it comes down to the gimbal shooting mode, I recommend pan follow. That way your tilt doesn't accidentally go up when you don't want it to. Keep the tilt locked and just stick to pan follow. You're going to be climbing upstairs here, so your tendency when climbing upstairs is to slowly point up your hands. It's just a natural thing that we do. So if you want to avoid that unnecessary tilt, turn it off and lock it by going into the pan follow mode. So you can probably tell from the position of the camera how steep this terrain actually is. And before I take out the crane too, I want to cover some extremely important tips for you to understand. These are tips that I haven't covered in previous tutorials because I've never shown you how to actually climb such steep terrain with the gimbal. I'm going to teach you a technique that I developed called the air technique. And it's basically going to transform your body into a cloud, or at least it's going to make you seem like you're stepping on clouds. I know it sounds a little bit ridiculous now, but as we progress in this video, you're going to understand this technique and your footage will look phenomenal. Now, the biggest complaint I've been noticing in a lot of people's comments is that they see a lot of up and down movement, especially when they go upstairs. And that all has to do with the change of height once you climb those stairs. You see that little bounce I do whenever I naturally go upstairs? And that's perfectly normal. Us as humans, when we go upstairs, that's what we do. But if we want to get rid of that bounce, we have to make it seem like we're walking on a cloud. Now, how do we do that? Here's the technique. Instead of putting your weight all on the legs when you're walking up the stairs, try to actually lean back a little bit. And instead of going heel to toe like we normally do, we are going to be flat-footed. So all of the foot reaches the stair at the same exact time. So chest is going to be out, back is a little bit out like that, leaning back just a tad, and that's going to help you out redistribute the weight properly in order for you to get that walking on air effect. So now that we talked about the walking technique, I want to start talking about the hands and elbows and how you're supposed to position them. So the hands should be right on top of each other, stacked like this. But instead of gripping onto the gimbal strong, try loosening up your fingers and putting a lot of that grip on your palm. Your palms are going to be your saving grace. That's where all of the weight of the gimbal is going to go towards, not your fingers. Why? Well, when you grip onto the gimbal with your fingers, you're actually putting unnecessary stress on your forearms, and you're going to make your arms a lot weaker over a period of time. And then your hands are going to start shaking out of being tired. And if you can, get some grip tape because that's going to help you out with your grip, especially if you're just using your palms. When it comes down to elbows, that's probably going to be the trickiest part of this technique. Your elbows should be adapting to the change of height when you're going up and down stairs. So let me show you an example. So our instinct with stairs is to go up with the stairs, right? So we're lifting our whole entire body. Hence, we're changing elevation or we're changing height. So we're bringing our whole entire body along for the ride. However, when we're talking about gimbals, you want to keep them fixed at the same height while you're climbing stairs. So let's say I'm going upstairs. I don't want to bring the gimbal up with me. Instead, I want to keep the gimbal at that same height throughout the whole entire trip up that stair. But when we go up another stair, we slowly start bringing the camera up until we hit that next stair. That way our transition between stairs will be very smooth and you won't be able to see any of that bounce. So between stairs, start to slowly bring up the camera in order to prepare for your next climb of that next stair. So now I'm going to show you how I climb these stairs. Pay very close attention to how I transition from stair to stair. Elbows to my sides. Again, hands stacked, and the gimbal's weight goes on my palms. Here we go. If you're having a tough time with your gimbal being directly in front of you, you can actually put it off to your side. For a lot of you, that's going to be very easy and actually even easier than the technique I showed you previously. So feel free to keep it off to your side and continue along with that similar technique. Elbows should continue being into your sides as well. Knees are bent, and you want to continue that smooth transition between stairs. Another important part to this technique is to keep your shoulders loose. Don't keep them locked in. If they're locked in, you're going to see a lot more change in elevation whenever you climb upstairs. Keep them loose. It's actually a good idea to stretch them out a little bit before you start climbing rocks or anything steep with your gimbal. The looser your shoulders are, the more they adapt to the type of terrain that you're climbing. Next, I want to show you a scenario when we approach crowded stairs. Basically, stairs that are right next to each other can be very difficult to maneuver around. So what you want to do, you want to slightly arch your back, and you also want to position the camera so it just curves around these stairs. Follow the stairs tracks and you will get a very stable shot. But once the stairs start to naturally spread apart like before, then you can start straightening up your back again and using the lean back gravity assist technique. Here's a little side note. If you're climbing steep terrain, make sure that you either have a spotter or that you are paying very close attention to the path you're walking on. Don't focus on what the camera is capturing. You're going to have to learn how to blind shoot, and that will be a technique I will cover in another tutorial. Blind shooting is a technique developed by operators that allows the operator to see what the camera is seeing without looking at the viewfinder. This comes from lots of practice, getting used to the lens and camera combination. So before we close out this video, I want to tell you the types of shoes I recommend for this kind of shooting. I'm using Nike Airs. Any other shoe will do fine as long as it has that air cushion. That air cushion will allow you to get more stability because it cushions your step. And that in itself will do a lot for your footage. Also, the shoes that I'm wearing are great for overall grip. So if you're climbing steep terrain, it might be slippery. So it's very important to have shoes that can have great grip. And don't worry, I will leave links to every piece of equipment that I used in today's video. So make sure you check out the link for them in the description box below. I want to give you guys a big thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel with notifications on. I can't wait to see what you create, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.